very much for making the time to come along live, or if you're listening to the recording, I appreciate that as well. So today we are going to be talking through marketing planning, as you probably guessed, and we're actually going to help you create a one-page marketing plan. So quite a simple, easy framework. I think so anyway. In 9 steps, I'm going to step you through that. Now, I also have Diane on the line here from Biz Inc, who is able to help if you have any sort of tech issues or questions about Biz Inc. Obviously, just use the chat to send those through, or raise a hand and we'll send you a message. So yeah, just feel free to open up the Q&A and the chat panel so you can send us a hello and a message as we go along. But just a bit of housekeeping, this session is being recorded, so if you need to duck off, you can go back and watch it, and we will also have a dedicated time for Q&A at the end, and we've got a special offer too at the end, so stay tuned for that. So I'll get into it. Hopefully you've all got it all set up now. In case you don't know, I'm Anthea, Head of Growth at Biz Inc. Basically, that means I try and help spread the word about Biz Inc, but I also spend a lot of my time helping accountants and advisors grow their firms. And over my last 5.5 years at Biz Inc, I've helped literally hundreds of firms with their marketing plans. So I've done this framework time and time again with different firms across the world. So I'm happy to talk you through it today as well. So I'll just quickly give you a look at the agenda. We are going to be looking at why firms that are serious about growth need a plan. So you've come along live to a marketing webinar, that's an awesome first step. You're clearly interested in growing your firm in some way, probably through new client growth, but there's also other ways too. So we're going to look at all that sort of stuff today and why it's important. We're going to break down those 9 components I mentioned and then turn that into a 90-day calendar as well, an activity plan, which is probably quite an important part of actually turning a plan into reality. So, and then, like I said, a time for a Q&A at the end. So just feel free to open up that chat and send me a message now just so I can check it's all working. Feel free to let me know where you're joining the webinar from around the world. I'm based in Brisbane, Australia. So it's my morning. Chat is disabled. Thank you very much for letting me know. See if we can get that on. Just give me 1 sec to see if I can do it. Otherwise, I will hope that Diane can help me as well. Oh, the joys of presenting live, hey? Thanks a lot for letting me know, Darlene. Maybe just use the Q&A panel for now. Sorry, I'm just going to give me 1 more. Working. Awesome. Thanks very much. That must be Diane figuring that out. Thanks for bearing with us there. I'm seeing messages coming in now, so that's much better to see. Hey, Stephen in Tassie. Hey, Tanya in New Zealand, and Calgary, Alberta. I appreciate you all coming along live. So it's really cool to see you all here. Awesome. All right, we've got that working. That's good to figure that out at the start. Let's get into the actual workshop today. So the first step is why you need a marketing plan. Like I said, I'm just going to launch a quick poll to see who has one. So just launching that now. I believe I'll give you a minute to fill that in. So the question I'm asking you is, who has a written down marketing plan for their firm? You do, you don't, or maybe you're not sure where you're sort of up to. So I'll just give you a couple more seconds to fill that in, and we'll see the answers. We survey accountants. We'll probably need to get back into doing it this year, but we've surveyed in the past, well, accountants and advisors, and typically majority of firms operating without one. So don't feel bad if you're answering no or I don't here. I'm just going to end that poll there and share the results with you. Okay, looks like 79% of the people on the webinar here live today don't have a marketing plan. That's very close to what our stats showed as well, slightly higher than what our stats showed in our research across the accountants across the world. So hopefully by the end of this session, you'll have made significant progress towards that in quite a simple step-by-step way. So I'm hoping to help you all with that today. But thanks a lot for answering that poll. Let's get into why it's important. The reason why you really need a marketing plan, a written down marketing plan, is because it helps guide your your firm. If you're trying to do marketing without it, it's just like driving across Europe without a GPS or sat nav or whatever you call it in your part of the world, sorry, but Google Maps anyway. You might be, moving forward. You might be driving somewhere, but how do you know if you're going in the right direction or how long it's going to take, if you're even on the right road? How do you know if you've actually got to where you want to go? That's the reason for a marketing plan. So you can work out all those things. It helps give you a very clear focus on what activities you need to do to meet those goals. So obviously you have to set goals to know where you're going, and then it'll help you work out the activities. Focus is really quite important in marketing. There'll be heaps of things that will come up during the year, well, in business in general, heaps of things that will come up in the month or even the week or the day. So lots of things are going to be jumping at you to try and take your focus. There's going to be new marketing trends and things you can jump on. And of course, it's good to be aware of them and know when to change your strategy, I guess. But I always think of what Steve Jobs said, that he was most proud of what they didn't do than what they actually did. So the benefit of that focus and knowing who you're going after, knowing where you're going, is that it helps you focus on what activities you should do to meet those goals. Tom, yeah, I'll get you a copy of the slides after if you like, for sure. Yeah. So that's probably the key benefit here for me, is that it actually kind of tells you what to do or helps you work out what to do. I'll send the slides out to everyone, so in our follow-up email, no worries at all. Cool. All right, so let's actually start getting into the why of the marketing plan as well. A clear marketing plan helps you understand who you're targeting, where to find those people, and how to reach them, which is ideal world, right? And who is important, because marketing to everybody is marketing to nobody. And I kind of call this scattergun marketing, right? You're just doing marketing activities, but you're kind of trying to hit everyone because you don't want to miss out. I hear these things quite a lot. And you're just going to end up missing because you haven't focused on a specific group and you don't have a strong appeal to those people. And the way you work out what activities to do is to center your plan around your ideal clients. I'm going to give you more examples of how that comes into reality in a second. And obviously the second benefit, I guess, of where to find them, that's obviously important because, well, it makes it a whole lot easier once you understand where your ideal client hangs out and goes to make business decisions, so you can focus your efforts on those places versus just trying TikTok because your friend said someone's gone viral there, or posting on LinkedIn because you think that's what you should. I'm just pulling some examples out there, but random acts of marketing versus very intentional acts of marketing is what we're trying to get you to do. And obviously how to reach them is important for obvious reasons as well, but a plan will help you work out the content and the messaging that's going to resonate with those ideal clients and help you appeal to them. So let's get into the 9 parts. I mentioned there's going to be 9 steps today. This is a bit of an overview of what we're going to go through as well. We've broken it into 3 stages. So we've got prospects, leads, and clients. And there's 9 steps throughout them, from target market through to like client referrals. So hopefully you can start to see, you've probably seen like funnels and flywheels and things like this. There's a whole lot of jargon for very similar sort of stuff in marketing, but you can see prospects, they'll turn into leads and into clients hopefully, and then through client referrals they can top up the bucket or the funnel or whatever it is. So it's kind of like a cycle as well. All things kind of contribute to the other. So we'll step you through that today. So I'm just going to launch another poll. I'll find the right button, sorry. Poll number 2. Which of these do you think you already have nailed? I think I've got that launched there. Just let me know if you can answer that one. So there's quite a few options on screen here. Do you think you have do you have an ideal prospect worked out and their pain points? Do you have your messaging, so how you solve those pain points? Prospect map, that's knowing where they go to hang out, what you do to turn those prospects into leads, nurture them, turn them into clients, how you keep customers happy. I'm seeing this is quite strong initially from your results, and I tend to agree with that from what I hear. how you get more sales from existing clients, and how you get clients to give referrals, or none of the above is an option as well at the very bottom. So I'll just give you a little bit more time to fill that one in. This is looking very interesting at the moment, so I'll share this in a minute once you've all had a chance to do this. You can select multiple, I believe. So if that's suitable for you, if you've got more than one nailed, then I'd be interested. It's just helped me work out what I sort of need to focus on today as well. All right, everyone's answered. Let's end that and share it. Awesome. All right, can you all see that now? So highest is how you keep customers happy, which was probably going to be my guess. I know a lot of, well, the advisors we work with anyway are very like caring people and do a lot for their clients, and yeah, do a lot to keep them happy too. So that's probably I mean, it's a great one to have dialed, of course, and it's probably one of the reasons why accountants are so good at getting referrals too. If you keep your clients happy, then they're more likely to give those referrals. And then it looks like the second best one, I guess, is your ideal prospect and their pain points. So that's great that you're starting to work out who you're going after. Few people have none of them sorted. Probably the other lowest one there is where your ideal prospect hangs out, which is yeah, I'll focus on that one in particular because it's quite a difficult one. It's one you need to, it's kind of the magic bullet, right? If we can work that out. It's not always easy, but we'll focus on that today. So thank you very much for that. Let's get into this first section on prospects. So the first stage is all about your ideal prospects and their pain points. This is probably one that, you know, some of you said you do have nailed, and it's a really, really important one. So that's a really good start. And this is really just about, I'd probably get a bit of pen and paper at this point as well. And this is step one. So this is about figuring out who it is that you most like to work with. So if you've got your pen and paper, start writing that down. If you've already got it nailed, you'll know what to answer here. If not, just start writing some ideas, you know, whether the people you like to work with, you know, maybe from an industry, like, you know, hospitality or the dentist or something like that, or a vertical, you know, like inventory businesses or something like that, which would span across multiple industries. It doesn't just have to be industry. It's just an easy way to think about it. If you're struggling with this and working out who to target, what to focus on, I would just suggest thinking about who you don't like working with as well. That can be another column here because it helps you start to narrow down who your ideal client is and isn't. And then the very next step, all in this step one, is to work out the pain points of those ideal clients. So I want you to try and think like a business owner here. You know, think like them, think about their feelings. It might sound weird, but, you know, it's just about putting yourself in their shoes. Don't jump to your sort of solutions and services and solving their problems just yet. Just in this sort of box of the marketing plan, we want to be writing down what their problems are and what their problems are making them feel like, and what the impact of not solving those problems is. So there's a few dot points on screen here that you can make note of. Just some examples for you, just some that I've thought of and some that I've known from chatting with accountants across the years. You know, if it's non-profit, again, to pick on industry, it might be, you know, difficulty creating accurate reports that they need for, you know, funding and grants and stuff like that. For construction, it might be, you know, not getting paid on time. Their finances are stretching them thin because they're getting paid about 30 to 60 days after invoice, and that's just causing a lot of stress. You know, I was speaking to a lady this year about just this week, about, you know, farming, which is a different niche from what we usually hear, you know, that it's so seasonal and things like that. So managing peaks and troughs can be difficult, and then think about the emotions that might cause the people off the back of that as well. If you don't have an industry specific niche or you're really struggling here, I would just pick something sort of general or universal, like not getting paid on time, or, you know, do I have money left over for tax, that sort of stuff. The reason why you should, you know, pick a niche is that it helps you obviously specialize, and that helps you gain a point of difference in, a very crowded market. So you've got to think that most established businesses are already going to have an accountant or an advisor. So you need to not only get them to switch to you, you need to get them to switch away from someone that they've probably worked with for years. And how are you going to stand out? A specialty is one of the best ways to do that. If you are understanding their pain points better than their current advisor, then that can really help that here as well. I won't spend too much more time on it. I'm just conscious of time, but I do have a few more tips there around, how to focus when you feel like you're a bit worried about missing out on, other clients and stuff like that. So I can chat with you individually if you need a bit more help on that. Just let me know. So the second stage, once we know who we're going after, who we'd really like to work with, now we need to note down how you actually help solve those pain points that we just went over. So I want you to be as specific as you can when you write down this stuff. The more detail you can think of, the better. Just sort of list everything you think of as we're going, or after the session today. Even better is if you can quantify the benefit of working with you. It might be like you're setting up invoices and reminders for those construction businesses with like 7-day due date, that sort of stuff. But even better is if you can start to put numbers on things like, we helped such and such business get paid 10 days faster by adding online payments to their invoices, something like that. Or the one on screen about saving, 3 hours a week on payroll. That's obviously going to take a bit of time to work out your averages and things like that and get some feedback from clients, but it just tells a real specific story. So if you can do that and use it in your marketing, it will be just a notch above. So obviously, probably my next recommendation is to get a case study to help you actually do that. So case studies tell a story about how you helped your clients, and in their own words, tell about how you solved their pain points, and that can relate to other people in the same position, obviously. So we do actually offer a good service here. Just a little side note, we can interview your clients for you and write up the case study. So Diane's just sent you a link to the case study service if you're interested in that. It can be really powerful, not just in this stage of marketing, really, really powerful in other places too. So once you know who you're going after, how you solve their pain points, then we get to the sort of prospect map bit, which is where a lot of people said they were, feeling a bit weak at the moment. So in this stage, I want you to write down where you can find your ideal clients. Now, if we all knew that, right, it would be a lot easier. But just think about where they might be physically located. Like, is there an area or a suburb or whatever where a lot of them tend to be? Sometimes there's like tech hubs, or if it's regional farms or whatever it might be. Just try and think about physical location. We tend to find people do still like to have a local accountant or bookkeeper, even if they don't go visit them in person. There's still something about knowing someone's nearby and understands your general environment, and all just contributes to trust, I think, as well. And where can you find their contact details? Sometimes there's online like directories. I'm thinking like trades directories for our local area and stuff like that. There might be others for your industry or for your niche as well. So just think about how you might be able to find information about them. Obviously, next step is what you do with that information. I'm not just saying to go spam them or anything like that, but there are ways and means to find people's, you might even find the email address that's on their website if you were wanting to reach out to them. Again, I'm not talking about signing them up to anything they didn't ask for. I'm just talking about dropping them a line, sort of thing. But that's next step anyway. And do they attend specific events or conferences, or go along to certain networking groups? Maybe, again, to use to pick niche examples, it might be the Doctors Association conference or something like that. I'm just making up things here, but I'm sure there's events for every niche out there these days. So what places do they hang out? Who's there? Can you go? How much does that cost? Have a look into that sort of stuff as well. Also think about who they trust and who influences them. It might just be like their immediate family or their partner maybe doing the bookkeeping or something, or it might be, their current accountant, their financial planner, banker, or just, other suppliers they might be connected with that you might be able to talk to as well. Just start to paint a bigger picture of your client. Don't necessarily jump to, figuring it out in a marketing sense yet. Just try and write down as much as you can here. Where do they hang out online as well? So like which social media platforms are they typically using? Are they on certain webinars, podcasts, forums to find answers, or just to look for things? Probably my overall tip here is if you're really struggling, because I know people do tend to struggle to figure these things out at times. If you're friendly with like a current client or person in this, in your niche, your ideal client, category, I'd just go talk to them and ask them these questions. And you can tell them why. It's because we want to get more clients like you. We really liked working with you, and we just want to, work on our marketing this year. Just got like 5 quick questions. Where do you go? What do you use? Blah, 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 blah. And it could lead to a good conversation about asking for referrals anyway. But get that answer right from the source as well. All right, so I've just got some examples for you here. I'm just going to look at this screen, sorry, because it's bigger on this one. This is just an example for Biz Inc of those 3 stages we've just gone through. So with the ideal prospect and pain points, obviously we specialize in working with accounting and bookkeeping owners. We work across the world, but we have particular focuses in 5 regions on screen there. We're not dealing with big firms typically. We're talking about our ideal client here. But typically the partner, the business owner, is going to be probably too busy to think about marketing, but they do want to grow. So it's like, you can think here about, I said emotions, but also like ambitions and characteristics and that sort of stuff as well, because obviously we need a certain type of person who wants to actually invest in their business and grow it as well. How do you start to solve the pain points of your ideal prospect? This is like your messaging. You don't have to have your message dialed just to fill in those marketing plan. Just start to note stuff down. Ours has come about after years and years of refining too, so don't stress too much. But the message from us is about focusing on your clients and the stuff you enjoy and growing your business, and we'll take care of marketing and stuff like that. I see a lot of people using similar messaging. You do this, we'll handle this stuff you don't like. We have done for you content, marketing, automation. So it's really about identifying the main pain point of time and often not liking marketing. So that's how we communicate, how we solve it as well. And prospect map for Biz Inc, this is where our accountants are typically found. We go to certain conferences because we, can meet them in person there. There's certain social media platforms, there's certain organizations, and, influencers and partners as well is a very big part of marketing for us. And it's probably very underused by accountants and bookkeepers as well. There's probably other partnerships that you guys could look at there too. So that's just in noting down who you could work with as well. I'm going to keep it moving because I've just looked at the time there, but I do have an example for like a construction accountant focusing on construction businesses. I'll send that to you with the slides after. I don't have time to go through it just now, but I've got plenty of time for like one-on-ones after this as well. So the second stage is leads, how you actually turn prospects into leads. I saw this was quite weak in the poll as well. So we're just going to talk through some ways that you might do that to turn potential clients into people that do know about you and are engaging with you in some way. So mainly what I'm going to talk about today is just things you need to have sorted. So firstly, obviously a website, you need one. Hopefully you know that in 2023. Let's assume you've all got one or are working towards that. It's now about thinking, is my website just like an online brochure, like an online business card sort of thing, or does it do something to attract serious business owners to do business with you? And think about your calls to action on the website as well. It might be a bit of marketing lingo, but just what are you wanting them to do when they're on your website, and finding out more about you? What's the ways to contact you? Make sure that's clear. Another thing I would probably insist that you have on your website these days, if you want to attract new work that is what we call a lead magnet, or a lead generating sort of asset. So it's a piece of high value content that you use to encourage people to give you their contact details. Basically, that's the end goal. It's just going to take something quite high value in order to get them to hand over their details. So, and ebook's just probably the common example, the easiest one for people to understand. It may or may not be suitable for you and your audience. It just depends on what content they like to consume. Some people are going to like podcasts, some people are never going to read an ebook, whatever it might be. So just remember that there's going to be people browsing your website that aren't ready to like book a meeting with you. They're not quite at that point yet. So these sorts of tools are really great for capturing the gap of those people there. So, and another good reason to have one of these is that it helps you build an email list. Most smaller accounting firms I talk to don't have an prospects list, an email marketing list of potential clients, or it's quite small or old or something like that. So this is a really good way to start to build that organically through your website too. It's obviously not just enough to have that. We'll talk about promoting it and things like that, but it's a very good start. Just some other things you could do is to do things like outbound marketing. So I mentioned before, there's like directories and things like that, places you might be able to find people's contact details, or at least just info on their business and how many might be, in certain areas and things like that. This outbound marketing is about reaching out to people, and I would really only recommend it if you have a really clear niche, if you're clear on who you're going after and how you help them, because otherwise you just kind of, again, scattergun be trying to reach out to people that you don't really have a strong appeal to. But what it is usually over email. You'll probably have been on the receiving end of plenty of these. Is you just email the correct person at the business that you want to work with, and just drop them a line and let them know about your specialty and how you help and that sort of stuff. So I would just focus on their pain points again, right? So if you can figure out what their number one pain point is, mention that in that email as well. And again, talk to your clients to work that sort of stuff out and how it gets received. Another way to do that, or another thing to use in that, is what we call social proof. So like that case study we were just talking about, or back on step 2, I think it was, where you quantify the benefit of working with you. If you saved a business X amount of dollars or time or whatever it is, mention that in that email too, so they can clearly see why they should talk to you. Again, that's kind of like probably a more advanced strategy, but it's very good option too. There's heaps of other things you could do here. I mean, there's probably a million, but like things like social media, obviously email marketing is one to consider. You could just be doing like advertising and events and things like that. And obviously a really popular one in this profession is like referral partners too. So who else can you talk to, like other accountants, lawyers, banks, people like that as well. Just note down all your ideas here. All right, step 5 is, once we have people say like browsing your website or opted in for an ebook, something like that, the next stage is to nurture them. Bit of a marketing term, but it's, again, for those people that they know you now, but they're not ready to talk to you yet. They haven't built that trust yet. That may take years to build for certain people, or, for people that have come through via referral, they're going to trust you a lot quicker. So that might be a lot shorter time frame. But I'm typically talking about people that come through digital marketing. Means we're going to need to take the time to nurture them, to build trust and credibility in their minds. So some things to consider here is, nurturing is really just keeping in touch with your prospects, staying top of mind so that when they're ready, they think of you. An email is really the best thing to do at this stage. It has the highest ROI for accountants. It's really easy to automate. Everyone has an email in business, right? So it's one of the more my key recommendation in terms of digital marketing tactics. Usually there's a few things within email. There's obviously newsletters. At the very least, I think you should be keeping in touch with the people that are on your list. One easy sort of type of email to do is a latest news email, which, by the way, Biz Inc writes every week for those advisors in the 5 regions I mentioned. So you have topical information all the time. But if, whether it's you doing that research, or I'd probably recommend definitely outsourcing it or getting a team member to sort of find the relevant business news for the week or the month or whatever, and just at least send that sort of stuff out to keep people informed. You've also got email blasts, which are usually just one-off sort of emails, but they're a bit promotional or educational or reminder type emails. And then automated nurturing emails is perfect for this stage as well. So you'll obviously need to be thinking about like tech at this stage too, because you will need an email marketing system to do marketing automation. If you need any recommendations on that, just let me know as well. It doesn't just have to be email though. Obviously I'm focused on that today, but you could pick up the phone and call people if you're open to it. I probably would suggest calling interested leads. I'm talking about the ones that they do know you, so it's not cold calling. They've downloaded something or shown some interest. It's, you know, it's a bit hard to overcome those nerves sometimes of calling people, but if you're not doing it, then somebody else likely is. So I would encourage you to step out of your comfort zone. It's out of mine too, but, you know, give people a call and see what they're struggling with and how you can help, particularly people that have, like, yeah, say they came and downloaded an ebook. You're just chatting about how did you find the ebook. You know, you've got conversation starters to there as well. Plenty of other nurturing ideas as well. It could be just like social media. It could be about creating more content, so more blogs or articles or resources or something that you share with them. Again, it's all designed to build your credibility. It's a lot easier to work out what that should be once you know who your niche is and who you're going after. So that's why I really encourage you to focus on step one and get that sorted first. Got a few more ideas there, but I'll just keep moving on so we can get through it. Step 6 is how you will turn leads into clients. So now we're probably at the crunch time, I guess. I know this was probably fairly strong in the poll. I know people are typically running quite a good first meeting or initial consultation. So just think about firstly how people would get to that meeting. So I recommend using like online appointment booking tools to make it easy for people to get there. They're pretty widely used now, but I still see plenty of people without them. So I suggest tools like Calendly. We can send links to our recommendations. Oh, Diane's done that. Calendly, I think, still has a free version if you're just one person, but don't quote me on that. Otherwise, there's tools like Acuity. We use HubSpot meetings because that's part of our CRM. So if you can use something like that, it's just going to make it so much easier for prospects to book in with you and find the time that suits them. It's how business tends to operate these days, particularly for my generation, like even just booking out doctor's appointments and things like that. It's just so much easier if we sort of do it like that. So again, don't just, you don't have to just do it that way. You can also have a phone number for people that prefer to call and your email address and a contact form. So make it easy for everyone, but just think about how you might be able to save yourself some time as well in admin too. Oh yeah, Patrick's made a good point. If you use Microsoft Office 365, depending on your subscription level, they have a built-in booking calendar that's free. Perfect. Microsoft Bookings, I forgot about that one. So yeah, thanks, Pat. Probably another point to make here though is about your sales meeting. You might call it initial consult or something similar. Health check or first chat or something like that, whatever you call it. I suggest you get a bit of a structure to running those. So come up with a set list of questions that you ask. And I'm not saying you have to be like, reading off a script and buy the book or anything like that. You actually, a script will help you, time after time get more into your natural language anyway. But I've done a sales course myself. I've spoken to many people about this sort of stuff. And there's definitely different ways and means to do it, but the approach I prefer it's called like a curiosity approach. It's really just about asking questions, getting to know people. I tend to find this is what you guys are doing anyway, and you're typically doing a great job, but I would probably my point is more to document it, I think, and make sure you have these set list of questions that you ask, and the more you document, the easier it is going to be to pass off to someone else if you ever need to train someone to do that anyway. So the reason why this is so important is probably obvious to you guys, but it's because it's where you're going to send people in your marketing. I was talking about calls to action before. If that call to action is to book a meeting, or book a consult, whatever you sort of call that, then you need to make that process smooth as well. You might do a little bit of a survey and ask questions before that meeting. That's fine as well. Just don't put too many barriers to booking that meeting either. But yeah, this is obviously where you're going to get your sales, where you're going to convert prospects to clients. So I recommend getting a solid process there. If you can't do in-person meetings, or you don't, you work remotely like we do, I recommend face-to-face video calls. If you can't do that, it's probably the next best. And just make sure you have those calls to action, book a consult or whatever, and make sure you add them to every piece of marketing that happens at this point of the process. So every email you send, especially email blasts, they should have some sort of call to action, even if it's just a PS at the bottom, PS, we also help with blah, blah, blah. PS, if you want to chat about how we can help you grow your business like we did for blah, 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 then book a meeting here, stuff like that. It doesn't have to be super salesy, or creative or anything. Just make sure it's in there. And at least starting is better than nothing there as well. And same thing, make sure it's on your social posts, your blog posts, even at networking events, make sure you might have something up on your phone if people are wanting to book right there and then and there. So it's just about making it easy for people. Right, so we've got an example for Biz Inc. I'll just run through it really quickly. Turning leads into prospects for us. So we have calls to action on our website. Obviously, we've got like book a meeting, of course, but we also have different, for people that aren't ready for that, which plenty of people won't be, they need to know what we do and how we help first. So we've got things like take a scorecard to find out how we think you're doing with marketing, join our playbook, which has heaps of free resources that we really give away, maybe too much for free. But they do have to give away their email address in exchange for that. So it's a value exchange, and obviously book a demo as well. Got a lot of assets on there too. You don't need to have heaps for, if you're running a smaller firm, you can start with just one that you focus on and see how it works. Things like our audits of how people are doing. And we do heaps of events and webinars, as you know, you're coming along to one now. So nurturing those leads, we spend a lot of time here as well on mainly email, further training, webinars. We do a weekly email newsletter as well. So it just keeps us in front of people that have started to get to know us but aren't quite ready for the meeting. Turning leads into clients, book a demo. You'll see that across our website and in our emails as well. We use HubSpot meetings to make it easy, and we make offers. So, it helps, build that sort of, interest, I guess, with people that are at that stage, and just helps them to move to book a meeting. So we do have one later today if you are interested to. I can send you those further examples as well, but we're up to the last stage now, which is clients. So I mentioned there's leads, prospects, and clients, and that they help flow into each other as well. So this is the one where you guys were really strong. So I'm really keen for you to get up the chat box and let me know what you're currently doing to create a good client experience. So you mentioned you're doing it well, so I want to hear from you. Whether you just want to send that message to me or to everyone, I don't mind. But I'm really keen to hear what you guys are doing. This part is on you ultimately to work out how you service your clients and go above and beyond that. Assuming you do the work accurately and provide good customer service, there's still plenty of things you can do here to be a notch above the rest, I guess, and stand out. So feel free to use the chat to let me know. I know there's some people that send like sort of thank you gifts. I would say, I guess this counts in this, but there was a guy I know that sends like a checking in email. So it's like a 5-word email or something like, hey, how's business going? And that's it. He automates that email. And it just shows people he still cares. He's checking in on them. That can be automated once a quarter or something like that. And obviously off the back of that can open up conversation wherever, but it's just about checking in too. All right, I've got some answers. Awesome. Priscilla went on a client tour, visited clients around town to check in during our team meeting. We did activities with their services. One client does human design, so she did one for our team. That's really cool. I'm not sure what human design is, so I'm keen to look that up. I love that. Obviously, if you can do in-person visits to clients, I mean, it just, we all get it. It's a bit better than it breaks out of the computer, right, which we need to do from time to time. So and doing activities with their services is fantastic. Another thing that reminded me, we have some clients that do like a featured client on their website, or if they get like case studies and testimonials and they link off to their website. So a good way to think about this, and the next two stages I'll talk about as well, is you've got to give to get as well. So if you can support your clients, then I'm sure they'll be more open to supporting you. So I love that. Thank you, Priscilla. Stephen, Biz Inc client case studies. We found clients are happy as we always phone them to see what's happening in their business. Yeah, that's fantastic. It was like the point I just mentioned about checking in, keeping in touch with people, showing you care. And then, they're going to be more than happy to give you feedback on that through a case study or a testimonial or review, whatever it might be. So that's awesome. We do regular events and webinars, end of year gifts, regular contact and check-ins. Awesome. Darlene, regular check-ins, and your client appreciation barbecue. I love that. Yeah. Obviously Christmas parties and things like that we see as well. So I've heard of many great ideas here. It's really good to hear from you guys as well. So I think I might have to start collating these ideas. They're really cool. So think about what else you can do. You might not necessarily have all the answers today. It's just about getting those creative juices flowing. Again, you could chat to clients, especially if there's one you're quite friendly with, or if you have a team, I'd make this a team activity to see what else you can do. And like I think it was Priscilla mentioned, you went during your team meeting and the team were involved in, doing those activities. So I'm sure they would have appreciated that too. So fantastic. All right. So the second part of the client stage is about trying to, I guess, get more sales from them really, and see what else we can do for them, which is, it's really just about helping people. Obviously there's hopefully dollars at the end of that as well, but I just want to see, maybe just use the chat to answer this one. It's not a poll, but do all of your clients know about all the services you offer? Just yes or no. Use the chat to let me know. No. Yeah, that's what I tend to see as well. I haven't got a yes come through yet, so that's probably fairly typical of what I hear. Now, that doesn't mean that you didn't do a fantastic job of telling them. It doesn't necessarily mean that. You might have gone through all your services when they first signed up and blah, blah, blah. It just might not have been the right time for them. Maybe they don't have staff, can't do payroll or something like that. So there might be valid reasons as to why they don't necessarily take these things up. It's just, my point here is people are busy. So even if you did do a good job of telling them, they're probably more than likely to, to forget. They got many other things on their plate as well. So if you answered no, which everyone did, then I would just start writing down what services you could, cross-sell, upsell to them. So, or is there new services you could offer that you might have been thinking about, like payroll or cash flow coaching or something like that? This is just a time for ideas, so you don't have to necessarily stick to any of these things, but just start to write down, whether it's like 3 other services you offer that people don't know about that you'd really like to get more clients on, or really see a benefit for your clients, is more where you could come from here. Once you have those written down, we can start to get a plan about contacting your clients about them. So the ways to do this, obviously make sure they're listed on your website, first and foremost, on a services page, that sort of stuff. And if you need to get a copywriter involved, I would really recommend that, and our team can help with that too. Then you consider email. Like I said, it's got the highest ROI for this profession. So it could be like, we've identified these particular group of our clients are, probably more suited to this service we want to promote. So segment your client database so you only talk with them, clients with staff about a payroll service or whatever. That sounds obvious, but segmenting's easy enough to do in a good email marketing tool. Newsletters, I'd probably have those same offers as your email blasts. Email blasts are just on one topic, so just about payroll. Whereas in your next newsletter, you might also just feature, hey, we now also offer blah blah blah. So just make sure it's about consistently getting that message out there, because they might need to see it 100 times. Just be patient. Not everyone's going to jump at that first email. So. But you might also just call clients that you feel are suited for this service. I mean, when you chat with them, I'd start with a check-in, like you probably would, see how they're going, what they're struggling with, and just mention to them that you've got these other ways you can help. Did you know we also do blah blah blah? Did you want to book a chat so we can review how things are going and see if it's suitable for you? Stuff like that. It doesn't have to be pushy or anything salesy either. So definitely call clients. I would encourage you to do that. The relevant clients anyway. You may also run like a client-only event, potentially even at like your client barbecue and things like that. You just spend a couple of minutes letting them know that you also help in these ways, and it's a real casual, friendly way to do it in person. So you can obviously read the room too. So. And of course, have it on your social media, on your blog and things like that too. So make sure you're just sharing these services out there too. And then the last stage is about how you get clients to give you more referrals. So I just want to again use the chat to let me know, do you have like a system for getting referrals at the moment? Do you on a routine ask people for them, email, blah blah blah? We got yes, no, bit of a mixture coming in, or is referral something that just comes in ad hoc for you? Most people don't have a system by the looks on this webinar today anyway. I tend to think the best systems are just where people ask for them. Make sure your clients do know that you have capacity to work with more people. I heard someone say probably years ago now about if people ask you how business is going and you always say you're so busy, then that might just be subconsciously in their mind that, can they take more work or blah, blah, blah. So just make sure you let people know clearly that, yep, you're open to more work, particularly in blah, blah, blah industry. We really like working with clients like them. And when you do go ask people for referrals, that's how it would be as well. You would start with your ideal clients that are on your existing client list and let them know why you like working with them and that you want more like them as well. So they know what a good referral is for you too. But the way you should actually do this, I mean, I'm keen to hear your ideas on what you're currently doing as well, but I would just make sure you ask for them. If you're doing those regular check-in meetings, make it on your to-do list for that meeting is to ask, or at least mention, what you're sort of looking for there. You can do dedicated phone calls for that sort of stuff. Again, probably around your sort of check-in conversation as well. Do dedicated emails for it. You may even consider incentives and things like that. I'm open to hearing what people do. I've heard different things on that. I probably say you don't need an incentive sort of scheme. I wouldn't think that that's typically why they would refer to you, because they get $100 off the tax return or whatever. It's probably a different type of client than what most of you are after. But I would more say like a surprise thank you is more valued, or just a nicer sort of touch of recommendation there anyway. So, I mean, I've seen things work well either way though. So a thank you is definitely warranted though, of course. So you may also just put it in the bottom of your email newsletter too. Just make sure those things are getting out in front of people on a regular basis. And again, think about how you can make it really easy for clients to refer to you. So if you're open to it, you can do things like a referrals page. We've sent an example there. So that's just about making it easy. Like if you want to use an online form, like one of our clients has done here, you can capture those sorts of details right from the get-go if people are inclined to do it that way. Obviously, if they're on the phone giving it to you that way, you take it that way. But just think about how else you can make it easy. And it doesn't just have to be clients, of course, that give you referrals, as most of you will know. You should be developing a network of referral partners too. Like, if you're a bookkeeper, that might be a local accountant. It might also be for advisors. It might be like a financial advisor or a lawyer. your local networking groups, definitely go attend those and see who else you can speak to as well. John's just asking what gifts work well with clients, like a thanks for a referral card, a pen. I could drop you a line, John, and share what I've seen other people do. But while we're live on the webinar, if anybody else has examples of what they currently do with a thank you sort of stuff or gifts, that'd be cool to see what you do as well. So I'll let you guys answer that while I answer wine. Yep. Yeah, I hear people do all sorts. It might be tailored. I think what would work well rather than a general sort of gift is maybe something, and I'm stealing this from another accountant that I heard it from, do something unique to them. This obviously probably works better if you work with a small number of clients that you know quite well. If you know they're interested in, I don't know, mountain biking or, XYZ in particular, get a gift related to that. It's, it really shows you care and you know them even better too. So people are saying wine, people are saying a card and a small dollar value preloaded Visa. Yeah, there's options. So yeah, just show you care and think about how you can make it tailored to them is probably even better. Do you need a CRM for our leads? David's replied as well, CRM is great if you're a small firm, even a spreadsheet will work. The best CRM is the one you actually use. That's a very good point. And yeah, I tend to work with clients of all different sizes. So probably for a small firm, I probably wouldn't bother necessarily. It depends at, your size of your list and how hard it is to manage and stuff like that. But yeah, if you want to be serious about marketing, you would need a CRM. I think HubSpot has a free one. We're on obviously a paid HubSpot plan. We've got a whole lot of stuff in it. So I'm not familiar with the ins and outs of what's included at the base level HubSpot plan, sorry, but I can have a look into that. There's plenty of options out there. In the back end of Biz Inc's website system is a email marketing tool, which it's not a full CRM, but it gives you some idea of who's in there. Otherwise, there's obviously tools like XPM and things like that too. So I know it can be hard to get info to communicate with other, data connected to different places and things like that. And like David says, it's more about using what you do have too. So probably not a simple answer there. It depends on your size and how much marketing you're doing, but tools like HubSpot or the level we're at anyway, they help you see where what activity that lead has done, that person has done, can be a client, what pages they've browsed on your website. That can, ping us if they're looking at the pricing page, we might reach out to them, stuff like that. Just to give you examples of how we use it. Obviously, you can see what services they've got. You can track a whole lot of things like that, so that if they, call us, that can come up quite quickly. Our whole support system's in there too. So, David says, my point is, don't let the lack of a CRM stop you from actually marketing, which is a very good point as well. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is probably not necessarily. It depends where you're up to. Like David says, the point is about actually doing something. So a lot of people can. I'll take a step back. You can do a lot of good things without necessarily needing to know, if they browse your website that day and things like that. It's more important to get this stuff sort of sorted, like about who you're going after in your messaging, your content, and making sure you have things to follow people up, and things like that is more important for sure. All right, so we just got one last example for that stage we just went through. So how do we keep at Biz Inc, how do we keep our clients happy? Well, hopefully we deliver a good support. We have like inbuilt chat into the back end of our websites and things like that. We do a lot of ongoing education and training. We're right now planning our series of client-only education for the year. So we focus on that as well. How we get more sales. We do regular calls with our clients to see how they're going with, using their website or the marketing tools we're giving them. And we like to share what we see other people doing well, what we've seen work well, and hopefully we have clear product pages on our website and things like that too. And how do you get clients to give you referrals? I think it's something we could be better at Biz Inc, but we're working on it. We do have a system for asking people, particularly if they give us a good NPS score, so like a 10, 10 out of 10 sort of review, well, that's a time we typically ask for that sort of stuff too. All right, now turning it into a 90-day activity calendar. Now that we know who we're going after, what activities we're going to do, we can work out, sort of the schedule for them. So once you have the blueprint, I'd move on to the 90-day plan stage of things. There is a document I'll talk through in a second for all this, but this is going to detail your marketing activities for the next 3 months and hopefully keep you on track with them and accountable. Like I said, things are going to pop up all over the place. So if you can get this sorted at the start of the quarter, then you know what to do each week, even if it's not necessarily you doing these activities. Grand ideas for marketing are great. We all have them, but after a few weeks, the busy work tends to take over and marketing often gets dropped. So this sort of a plan helps you create a consistent system for marketing your business, and it pulls directly from the completed marketing blueprint, particularly stage 4, which was called How to Turn Prospects into Leads, I believe. So again, we have a document for this we can go through in a sec. So for example, if you're going to be doing email newsletters to clients, definitely one of my key recommendations, you might add client newsletter into week 1 and detail what you'll include in that newsletter. So some options might be those business tips I mentioned, some latest news, promoting a service, asking for referrals, all those things I mentioned. And maybe it goes in week 4 and you spend the prior 3 weeks or however long it takes you to, write the article for that, source that news, whatever. So it could be prepare for sort of tasks in here as well. Or I'd recommend you don't write it yourself anyway. So if it's just like sourcing that content, then you can flesh this out more than just send client newsletter, of course. That's just an example of a basic marketing plan. My tip here as well is not to overcrowd it with more marketing activities than you're ever going to reasonably get to. So it's about finding a good balance. Let's just quickly recap what we've done. We went through these 9 stages of the marketing plan. I just want to ask you as well, I'm going to start a poll. I'm not going to start a poll. What has been your biggest learning from today? Sorry, I can read my own slide. It says use the chat. I just want to know what you've sort of found useful from today, what you've learnt, what you're going to go away and do or look into. Let me know if there's anything on that side of things, and also if there's anything you still have questions about, feel free to send them through now and I can answer them while we're here. Just got a message come in. I'm in the process of building a website through Biz Inc, which marketing activities done by Biz Inc. We can go through that as well once we get to like the training. So all our websites come with like training. As soon as they go live, we set up a training session. So we'll be in touch at that point. It's probably a good time to go through that, and we'll tell you what sort of marketing activities we do and don't do. It'll depend on what package you're on as well, typically. And if I can remember rightly from the package you're on, typically what we'll do is provide the content, like the blog post written for you, the weekly news, it just flow into your website in draft, and then you can choose if you want to use that or not. And so I guess in that instance, the publishing and the blogs might be on you, or we have services where we can come in and do all that for you. So quite a range there. I'll make a note to look at where you're up to there. Okay, well, there should be a bit done. With the website side of things, there's still often a bit on you, but then we also have bolt-on marketing services. So I'll just check what you've got there. But thank you for that. We'll have a look. Right, I've got a few more messages here about your learnings. Regular client contact. Yeah, that's awesome. That's probably a point that came from a lot of you guys in the chat, to be honest. Was one thing you guys are doing well is keeping in touch with people, doing those regular check-ins. There's obviously a reason to do it as well, like good customer service, but like I said, give to get. If you can just show you care and take interest in them, that it's probably going to contribute to more referrals and top up your pipeline for you. For some small firms, that's might be all they need in terms of marketing, but again, on the proviso that you get good type of clients out of that as well. A good reminder about what we are doing to deliver a good client experience, researching where our ideal clients hang out. Yeah, I would really I know you, Stephen, you are very open with your clients. I'm sure there's clients that would be very happy to chat with you about that too. So, and plenty of information on Google, but yeah, good to chat to clients in person too. Just take action. Are you providing us with a link to a one-page template / action plan? On the next slide, I will give you details on that as well. Hopefully you know what the 9 stages are now, but we've developed a document to, to make it a lot simpler. So I'll show you that in a second, Steve. How to get organized, finding our ideal client. It's a good refresher on looking after clients. Awesome. Oh yeah, I've just seen a lot of you guys can see these comments anyway. So good to have the refresher. I'm really glad for that. So I'm grateful you've come along to the session and found it useful. So let's just talk about probably Steve's point about how to actually pull this together. So we do actually offer one-on-one marketing blueprint, marketing planning sessions, typically about an hour you can spend with me or my colleague Sophie or a few other of our team as well. So if you have any questions from what we've chatted about today, or if you just want a place to write this down and talk through it with someone, I'd probably suggest this hour workshop, which Diane's just sent a link to our marketing blueprint. We do just actually have a special offer today. So we've got these available for $699. I'm talking just in Australian dollars right now. We have them in different currencies, so I'll send you the appropriate pricing for your currency, or if you click that link, it should show up in your currency anyway. Or the special offer is if you take out an annual website or Client Hub subscription, you'll get this free. So the best thing to do there is if you're not sure is to chat with us, and we'll work out what's right for you, if a website's right for you, if a hub's right for you, and what we can do for you first. So I'll get Diane to send you a link to book a meeting. That's probably the best step if you're interested in the annual subscription for one of those, obviously. For existing clients, so if you have any Biz Inc clients on the line now, which I know we have a couple, we'll give this to you for $549. So we've got a coupon to give to you, or obviously if you have that annual subscription, you can get it free. So I'll just use the poll on, I'll launch this now. So if you want more information about this offer, just answer yes, and I'll be in touch with you. I'll check obviously if you're a client of ours and give you the coupon, or just see where you'd like to go with that first. I'm happy to chat with you. Obviously we've got that hour workshop too, or we can just see where you're up to with this stage. So we do have a document. That's what's in the sort of screenshot on screen, is the document we use, as Steve asked, the one-page template we'll share in that meeting. All right. See people using that poll. Awesome. Yes, it's sometimes included in website plan subhash, so we'll get in touch with you about that one. Yeah, probably when the site's live, I guess, but yeah, we'll have a look. All right, I'll just go to this next slide. Oh yeah, that's if you'd like more information. I'll just keep that poll up. Just want to check though before, I know we've gone over, so I thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, I'll just stick around for a minute or two, so feel free to use that chat box. Otherwise, use the chat box to send me a question and I can get back to you by email if you don't have any time now. But thank you so much everyone for your time and seeing those messages now. I see people are going to get client testimonials and stuff like that. Awesome. And we're happy to help with that as well. So thanks very much everyone for your time. I'll get in touch with you if you answered that poll. I'll drop you a line personally and we can we can get something sorted for you. Thanks a lot, and